Class of 2023, the announcement is coming. Next Tuesday, coverage begins 4 o'clock Eastern right here on MLB Network, and the live announcement, Brian Kenny, Tom Verducci, and others at 6 o'clock Eastern. Greg Amsinger and Harold Reynolds will think, you know what, if they had one vote, who would they pick?
Harold and I do not watch enough baseball to be Hall of Fame voters, but if we were Hall of Fame voters and we could pick one pitcher and one position player to get in from this year's ballot, we'll start with pitcher. Who would it be? I'm taking Billy Wagner.
Oh, I agree. So,
you agree?
Yeah, let's move on. That's
Put Billy in there.
Billy's in.
Position player. I'm going to go with a guy in his final year on the ballot. Give me Jeff Kent. 351 home runs as a second baseman, most ever for anyone at that position, and you're not in the Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent deserves to be in Cooperstown. That's who I would vote for. Who's your guy?
I agree with that. I mean, he did it when second baseman weren't hit for power either.
Oh.
So, yeah. But my guy is Gary Sheffield. I mean, anybody can turn the bat towards you like this and still deliver 500-plus home runs. There's no proof with the whole stain of steroids. And I saw Gary Sheffield at 19 years old play shortstop in the big leagues and did the same thing when he was retiring, swinging the bat the way he did. I'm sorry, but I don't believe the steroid thing, and I think Gary Sheffield's in.
You don't believe it?
Nope.
You know, I don't believe that we don't get a vote for the Hall of Fame.
How about that?
What is that about?
We'd be dangerous.
Anyway, our coverage begins 4 p.m. Eastern, January 24th, right here on MLB Network.
That's so unlike Greg and Harold to make it about themselves, but here is the vote here when it comes to the ballot. I'm with those guys. My pick right away, Bill, is Billy Wagner, because closers have gotten less love over the years, right? It's only one inning. It's not a big deal. Listen, but if you're still the elite, like their argument with Kent and Francisco Rodriguez and Billy Wagner to me are elite guys, I'm going with Wagner. Again, peak years. That's what they like to focus on, right? 10 years, 40-plus saves, etc. When Billy Wagner came in the game, he was throwing 98, and it was lights out. If you're the elite at your position, I think you should get recognized, even if closers don't get as much love. For me, Billy Wagner, no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you for that. I'm going to go with center field. I'm going to go with Andrew Jones because, and here's why. Keith Costas, he brings it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I heard his rap the other day about Andrew Jones talking about a 10-year period, and he goes, so look, if we're going to look at a 10-year period, you have 35 homers, and you have 10 gold gloves, like 35 homers per year for 10 years. If that's going to be the standard, or that's too low, apparently, if he's not going to get in.
Yeah.
But you look at Andrew Jones, the splash that he made when he came up, and if you look at those peak years, they're pretty good.
Yeah, the argument ends up becoming, do you want consistency over the course of 15 to 20 years, or do you want, as you said, the 10-year? And I'm with you. Like, if you were an elite player for a certain duration of time, how can you not get in? Jones right now is in the mix, mid-60s, but I don't think he's going to get in.
He brought it. One thing on Wagner, though, I only faced him one time because I like being able to say, okay, when I saw this guy, when I played against this guy, I only faced him once.
Yeah.
I walked, which was hard to do because I didn't walk that many times. There was something different out of this dude in one at bat. You know what I mean? And that was my whole argument when I'm playing against guys. I think Albert Bell, when you're talking about Hall of Fame stuff, there was nobody in the game that I played against that I'm going, oh man, bad things are going to happen to us when Albert Bell got into the box.
Right.
And to me, he was a difference maker. When it came up, when he started measuring his spot in the box and etched his heel in there and stood in the batter's box, you're going, okay, bad things are going to happen for us.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what it is. If there's 750 guys in the big leagues when I was playing, because it was a 25-man roster times 30 teams, you're looking at 750 guys. Who was different? There was a lot of guys that are good, but who was the guy that you didn't want to see? Albert Bell, when he stood in the batter's box, bad things going to happen to the other team.
It's like what they're saying about Sheffield being an intimidating presence. That is that guy when Bell stepped up. Manny Ramirez is a guy like that as well. But I think ultimately you're looking at a situation where we may not get anybody inducted on Tuesday. Right now, if you look at the numbers, Rollins in the mix, Andrew Jones in the mix, but maybe nobody.
I'm a small hall guy. I mean, we heard JP earlier say, you know what, certain guys get in, and guess what? The hall's still standing.
Yeah.
I will say that even if no one gets in, the hall will still be standing. And
we're still getting a speech from Fred McGriff this year.
But and by the way, he needs to be in there because he was different when he stood in the box too. Yeah. But I'm okay with that. If you don't think so, I think the Hall of Fame should be, as JP Moroz told us, it's the hardest Hall of Fame to get into, and I'm way okay with that.
Yeah.
I think in some of the other sports, you throw 4 good years out there, and next thing you know, you're enshrined. I don't want to see baseball get to that. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I'd rather one guy get in and it's exclusive and special rather than in Canton you got like 9 guys making the Hall of Fame every year. I'm like, no. Jeff Kent is an interesting argument. I wouldn't vote for him personally if I had a vote. I think he was a great offensive player, but I think he was a beneficiary of the fact Bonds hit in front of him that helps him with those RBI totals. I think he was average defensively. I don't think he was an elite player the way I look at other guys as being elite. But yes, I understand most home runs by a second baseman. He makes a case. I personally would not vote for him.
There is a case there because when you're the all-time leader of a position in the sport, I think it's there.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you for your points.
Yeah.
And I'm okay if he doesn't get in. I'm not going to go throw a fit somewhere. But I'm going to stick with my idea. I like the small.
Yeah.
And when you think about now, there's 26-man roster, 30 teams, right? So you're looking at 780 players to start the year. If the Hall of Fame is 1%, 780 players means 8 to begin the year going to Hall of Fame. So we can look at this year's rosters and this year's opening day. Okay, Trout's in.
Yeah, Miguel Cabrera.
In. Verlander, in. Is Kershaw in.
Scherzer.
Is Scherzer in.
Yeah.
So now you're starting to look at, okay, well, who's on the fringe? Yeah. And I'm okay with that to be on the fringe. I don't think it's a slap in anybody's face not to be enshrined into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is supposed to be for the best of the best.
It's special and it's sacred for good reason.